Hello everyone, Shadow here, and welcome to another Transport Fever 2 Pseudo New York update. Today I have a general map update for you all. So at the request of AirNico, I wanted to give you guys a more aerial view of the map progress so far. What you're looking at now is from the vantage point of Connecticut and Westchester, looking down towards the city with the Long Island Sound in the foreground. So from this vantage point, you can see that I've been hard at work trying to fill out the Metro North lines, at least as much as I could. You can also see that I've been filling in the A division lines, and you can just make out that I completed the 4 line, a partial area of the 5 line, and the 6 line as well. I haven't really gotten far on the 2, the 3, or even the 1 line as of yet, but I actually started working on that today as of this recording actually. So taking a look now at Manhattan and Long Island City, you can see how the train line density has really increased in that area. I have the Northeast Corridor combined with the A Division, the B Division, the Long Island Railroad, the Metro North, all of that there. And you can see now going into Brooklyn how a lot of that density is extended into downtown Brooklyn. And now taking a look at Coney Island, you can see how all of the B division lines terminate over there. You can see the Far Rockaway lines as well as the air train lines over here and the makeshift Jfk Airport that I have set up at this time. I am considering changing that. Now that line that you see looping around the outside, that is the Long Island Railroad Far Rockaway lines. I haven't completed that. In fact, I have to work out the Valley Stream, the Babylon. I have to work out a bunch of other Long Island Railroad lines. But you can make up in the upper left-hand corner, you can see where Jamaica Station is because all the lines converge there. So now you're looking at the Long Island Railroad line going all the way up to Port Washington. Now I have 2 separate lines running there, one going to Penn Station, the other one going to Grand Central. And yes, you heard that right. I have the Long Island Railroad extension into Grand Central Station where it merges with the Metro North. So going to Jersey now, you can see where the PATH line enters into New Jersey heading to Newark. You can also see the Northeast Corridor line all the way into Newark where it splits, and you can see the Montclair line, you can see the main Northeast Corridor lines, you can see the Boonton line, you can see where Newark is. Now I have the Raritan line is orange, the remaining Northeast Corridor lines extending all the way south to the fictional location of where Trenton Station is. So taking a look northward here, you see where I have the current termination point. I want to extend the line all the way up to the north of the map to just connect all the cities there. I might also add additional cities over there. Now I wanted to zoom in and show you guys here the Long Island City area on the Northeast Corridor. Now the train density was so high that I had to add another tunnel. In real life there's 4 tunnels, but here I only have 3 just to spread out the trains going into Penn Station because the train density was incredibly high. I might add a 4th tunnel, but at this point it's not really necessary. Now here's an overhead shot of the Grand Central Station. You can see the termination point of the Metro North and Long Island Railroads. And over here you can see another shot of Penn Station. You can see all the lines that are coming in there. I wanted to add more platforms. Unfortunately, that would mean dismantling the entire station and rebuilding it again, and I'm not going to do that. The black line you see there is the Empire Amtrak line heading up to Albany. Now I did redesign the Sunnyside area a little bit here. Zooming in a little bit more so you can see closer as to how the lines are set up. So you can see the additional tunnels that I added. I changed the way how the roads were laid out. I did a lot of work over here. The only thing that really is needed at this point is to just make the area look a little bit more industrial, but that won't help the frame rate issue because it lags a lot. That tunnel right there in front of us goes straight to Grand Central, so that's part of the Long Island extension part. Over here you can see the redesigning of the Sunnyside area where the 7 train is. You can see a Long Island Railroad line and another tunnel that leads to Grand Central. Now, rather than an overhead loop, I made the loop actually go underneath the main lines of the Northeast Corridor. That is reflective of how it is in real life. Now, the main issue that I have with this part is this track area over here. You can see how the switches are set up. It is not like that in real life. I'm not going to change it. I'm likely to leave it the way it is. Now, moving over to Woodside, I did shift over the way how the freight line is. I added a barrier so you couldn't see it from Woodside, and I redesigned the Woodside station so that they have 2 express tracks just like how it is in real life. You can see the 7 line overhead over Woodside, and you can see the Port Washington line split off away from the main Long Island Railroad line over here, where the freight line actually crosses over the track. Now, I did add some trees to kind of just add to realism and obscure some of the visual, add some real density to the area, just to give some visuals. Now, heading over to the Bronx, you can see this complicated setup I have over here. Now, in real life, the 6th line and the 2 and the 5 line are not that close, but it's a game and the map and it's small, and well, this is what you're gonna get. So right now, the 5 line terminates at East 180th Street, which is what I'm putting in right now, but I'm gonna continue it from this point and split it off to Wakefield as well as Dyer Avenue. Now you can see the 6th line extending all the way to Pelham Bay over here. I also have the Northeast Corridor line still continuing over here as well. And I also linked these roads to City Island so that traffic can actually flow back and forth. I could add a bus, but the caveat is they're starting to spread over onto the mainland, which understandably is annoying. Now, traveling up the Northeast Corridor here, I have the New Rochelle station here. I have it set up so that one of the tracks is express, whereas the other 3 actually have platforms. So the trains are actually running express in both directions on that one track. So just keep that in mind. Now, continuing up the Northeast Corridor, you can see it's pretty barren. I would like to fill it out with something just to add some visual to it, but again, I'm constantly thinking about the frame rate, so maybe trees, maybe a barrier of some side. Now you can see over here, we're passing a fancy bridge all the way over to the Riverside Terminal. Now this terminal doesn't exist in real life, it's only here for the sake of the game. I wanted something to showcase the grandeur of this map and the various trains that will be leaving from this area. Now heading over the Long Island Sound, you're going to see what I was talking about with regards to the frame rate. As we get to the city area, the lag really does become extreme. Even on pause, moving the map around, it can become a problem. Now, hopefully those of you with high-end computers won't notice much of an issue with this, but with those of you who have low-end computers, I'm sorry. But from this vantage point, you can see just how many stations are in the downtown area of Brooklyn, Queens, and Manhattan. It's an awful lot of stations, and I'm still adding even more. Now, keep in mind, I did omit a lot of stations for this map, but for the most part, this is what you're going to get. Now, taking a look into the Brooklyn area, you can see the M line. It's also a little barren. I did wanted to fill it out a little bit with some buildings and some roads, but the frame rate issue again has made it difficult. Now you can see the L line. I think I put a little bit too much trees over here. I think I may want to just decrease that a little. Now going over to the Canarsie area, you can see where the L train terminates. I even put a little train yard with some trains just sitting there. I think it added to the dynamic visuals of the game. I really do, at least of this map. So zooming out and heading across the bay here, the Jamaica Bay, you can see I did something similar over here at Rockaway Park. I have a little train yard with some freestanding trains just sitting there, and a lone shuttle train just loading passengers. That is actually moving. It's just the game is on pause. Zooming back out, let's travel across the Rockaway Peninsula. You can see where the A train comes onto this peninsula. I changed the bridge to make it look more realistic. Over here is the Arvern area. Now, yes, those buildings are way too big, but that's the game for you. And traveling all the way over here to Rockaway, you can see where both the A line and the Long Island Railroad terminate. Now, I probably will add a little bit more decorations over here just to make it a little less barren. Now, here's a close-up of JFK Airport. Now, there are some airport assets that came out recently that I'll probably be redesigning this airport with. But I kind of like the layout of how I was able to make it look, at least so far. I really do like this. It looks nice for what the game offers. And the way I have it set up, I basically have each airport here set up as a range of terminals. This one is Terminal 1 through 4, where Delta Airlines is predominantly. Now, zipping on by, you can see Jamaica up in the distance on the top, but over here is the Howard Beach JFK Station and the Howard Beach area. I really like how this area looks. I think it's one of the most realistic I've designed so far, especially as we approach the North Conduit. We're traveling over the Belt Parkway. It just looks so real in my view, and I couldn't resist. I built out the conduit. I really did. I really like how this turned out, especially as it merges up there to Atlantic Avenue with all the trees. I might put another city over there just to add some density. So taking a look over here, this is the Williamsburg Bridge. I know it looks kind of crappy. I'm really hoping that we can get some better bridges, or at least New York City bridges, particularly bridges for Manhattan, Williamsburg, and Brooklyn bridges that are a kilometer or less long, or at least adjustable so that you can have dynamic bridges based on the size of the map. I really would like that, because there's bridges out there that combine rail and road, and it's really, really nice. Now, taking a look over here at Newark, you can see Newark Penn Station, and it looks absolutely fantastic. It looks so real. The assets that they released for the Asian stations really did it justice over here. As you pull into Newark Station on the train, it looks absolutely fantastic. I don't think I could have done a better job. I'm gonna keep trying because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, but it truly is real. Over here is the Harrison Station where the PATH train stops. You can see the rail line for where the Northeast Corridor passes through. Over here is the split where you have the Northeast Corridor combining with the remaining New Jersey Transit lines. It needs to be filled out. There needs to be some roads. You can see the I-95 interchange. I released a video just train spotting over here. I'm gonna add a few more trains, especially as I built out the Hoboken lines, but for the time being, this is what it's going to be. Now, traveling up the line, you can see where I redesigned the bridge over here, and I really like how this turned out. This is approaching Secaucus Station. I tried my best to make this as realistic looking as possible. I really enjoyed designing this area. I even have the tracks slow on the interior side because often the bypass tracks are on the exterior, as you can see a train demonstrating right here as it flies by the local train into Penn Station. I I really enjoyed that. Simple pleasures, I guess. So like with Newark Station, Secaucus Station, the Asian station assets really came in handy here. I was able to design a more realistic Secaucus Station and have it actually feel like you're traveling through the station. Again, over here you can see the interior tracks are actually a slower speed track. This allows for the outside tracks to actually be bypass tracks, which is more or less how it's like in real life, at least most of the time. So before I close for the day, I want to just mention a couple things. One, thank you all for those of you who have been working diligently to bring New York City to life. Your assets has really helped bring this map to its current state. I'm really happy with how this map has turned out so far. But there's still a few more assets which will help make this map even more realistic, including the R30/R32 subway car. Link is in the description below. Please show that modder some love. Additionally, if we can get some attention on the R160 subway car, please bump that thread. Create a new one. Just get as many attention out there on all the forums. We need that train in Transport Fever 2. Well, that's all for today. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy what you saw here, please give it a like. It really does help my channel. So given the amount of work that I've done since the previous map update, I do have a plethora of lines that I could showcase. So I'm asking you to help me decide which line to showcase next. You can comment below and tell me which subway line or which train line you want to see in the next video. So until next time, stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next video.